show you a couple plugins from PSP Audioware. And the first one I'm going to show you have on the screen here is called PSP SpringBox, and it's a spring reverb emulation plugin. And I created some demo tracks here to show off this reverb plugin. So let's go ahead and listen to what we have here. And right now I have it turned off. Just kind of hear the track. Some guitar, bass, and drums. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the guitar. So I'll go ahead and solo that. So I would say most of the time, if I'm going to use a spring reverb, it's going to be for guitar. I've used spring reverb plugins for special reverbs for vocals as well, sort of like in an indie pop mix or something like that. But mostly for guitars, it emulates the guitar spring reverb tanks and old amps and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and unbypass this right here. Turn it on. So you can already hear the brilliance of the reverb, and I'll run through the plugin here. So there's a high pass filter here, and there's two tanks here. So there's an A and a B, and they have the identical controls. You can go back and forth between the two. And so do a high pass filter for the signal going into the reverb. You can turn up the presence at pretty much the top end of the EQ going into the reverb. And there's also a dampening filter here too. So that's going to turn down some of the high end of the reverb signal. And then also you can change the time constraint of the plugin here. Make the reverb tail longer. You can really hear the boing of the transients with the pick of the guitar there. You can hear how it's repeating the resonance in the background. Pretty cool. The emulation really sounds like a real reverb tank. It's pretty awesome. Okay, and there's also trim control, so you can turn up the gain of it up and down. Okay, so let's go through the different settings over here on this side too. Okay, so there's a setting for different types of tanks that they emulated here. So this one is on 2 reverb springs. We can do 3 reverb springs. Here, I change a little bit. Let's turn up the time just so you can hear it exaggerated. And then this is 4 springs, so 2 tanks with 2 springs in each. And this one has 6 springs. You hear how wide and diffuse that is now. And so it sounds like there's multiple copies of the reverb signal that way too. It's pretty interesting. You can set the diffusion here. So it's pretty much the amount of the diffusion of the reverb tail. You can also set the stereo spread of the reverb signal, and you can also pan the wet part of the reverb signal here. Let's show that off here. Okay, so you can turn down the dry signal here, up or down, and you can turn up or down the wet signal, so the reverb signal. So I'm going to turn the dry down. So this is just the reverb signal, just the SpringBox. Not hearing any of the guitar anymore except for the reverb. I'm turning up the wet signal. It's a pretty cool effect. And so I would do this as a send. I would typically probably put this on ascend anyways. And then, so what I was saying about the pan is that now you can pan the reverb signal left or right. And then if you turn up the dry signal, you can hear the wet signal just on the right side. And now it's just on the left side. This is with the 6 springs still, so it's pretty prominent reverberation sound. Let's not rich that is. Okay, so for example, I was saying I would use this. Let's bypass this. I would use this on ascend. Mostly, I would think I'm gonna mix like I do with most time-based plugins or emulations here. Okay, so I'll show an example of that. So I have ascend set up to this aux here, and I have SpringBox on this aux. I didn't mean for that to rhyme there. And then let me bypass it. So what I'm going to do, which I showed an example of that already, is I'm going to turn down the dry signal and turn up the wet signal. So this is just going to be just the wet reverb signal on this aux track. Okay, so let's hear the guitar again. Oh, let me bypass it on the track. So here's just the guitar dry, right? And then we have a send here. So I'm sending to this aux track here that has okay, so it has SpringBox on it. Actually, I did that wrong. There we go. So there's the dry part. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to go ahead and send to the aux now. See, now I maintain the clarity of the guitar signal and then have the wet SpringBox signal behind it. So let's hear the mix. Turn down the reverb a little bit. So I muted the aux there. Bring it back in. Sounds nice. I like that. And then let's try it with the 6 springs. Turn down reverb signal a little bit more. Then I'll mute the aux. Hear how dry the guitar is. That's super cool. Yeah. So this is PSP SpringBox. Great spring reverb emulation plugin. Okay, so now another plugin I'm going to be showing you from PSP Audioware is PSP E27. And we'll go on the same guitar track and there's a solo it again. So this is an equalizer plugin. And this is an emulation of an Evendis, hopefully I'm saying that right, equalizer in the 500 series rack format, actual piece of analog gear. And this is a pretty well-known equalizer. Evendis is known for their 28K high end, I would say. A pretty special frequency band there. But we'll go over the interface of this plugin and see how it sounds. So yeah, this is E27. All right. So we'll hear it on the guitar track. So there's a high band, mid band, low band, and then so there's gain for each band here, and then you can select the frequencies. So you just click on the frequencies to select. So let's put the 28K on, and I have this linked in stereo mode right now. So let's go ahead and you can boost that. So you can boost 16 dB gain, which is a lot, and you can also attenuate 16 dB as well, so you can hear how bright it's getting. And then we can attenuate as well. Muffled sound here. And then so let's go boost some 4.6K. Boost just a little bit, 28, and let's boost 120 as well. All right, so I'm gonna bypass it, so you can hear how boring it just got without the EQ boost. Really brought out the presence and body of the guitar. We can bring out one more here. 4.6. Okay. All right. So what you can also do is affect the left and right channels individually. And then let's see here. You can engage PA11 modules. So this has a general saturation here that I can add to the signal. Cool. Little drive, and this has 16 dB of drive too, so you can really drive it. And it has a little button here for the 28K I was talking about. You can just turn that on. It'll be an automatic boost there, air frequency boost, and it's got a polarity switch. And you can also take out the emulation of the. I'm just gonna stop that for a second. You can take out the emulation of the transformers and the emulation of the op amps as well, the operational amplifiers that's in the plugin. So you can take out those pretty much the harmonics of the emulation there. So let's try this on. Let's try some presets real quick. Let's go through. I have it on each track here. So we have guitar, bass, and drums, and so I'll just go cycle through some presets. Okay, full track here. Okay, so we'll pick a guitar preset. Yeah, wide, warm guitar. There you go. Yeah, it just does sound warmer, a little rounder. And then on the drums, the bass. So on the bass, there's a bass preset here. Lo-fi bass. Cool. And then let's put on the drums. Drum group. It definitely has sort of a vintage character to this EQ. Let's go ahead and bypass them all. Put it back in. It's cool. It's got some fatness, I'd say. And then let's go to the drums and drive them a little bit. go to the bass and drive it a lot. Drive it like really hear it getting gritty. Get the distortion there from the excessive amount of drive I was putting in. Oh yeah, and there's also a high pass filter here. High pass and control the output of the plugin as well. So there's a global level control for the preamp stage here. Alright, so this is PSP Audioware E27. And if you want to check this one out today, you can go to pspaudioware.com and download a demo today. And then also check out SpringBox as well. Just go to their website and check it out. Really cool Spring Reverb PSP SpringBox. Alright guys, have a good day. Thanks so much. Hey, I'm Tony, and I'm going to be showing you a plugin from PSP Audioware. This one's called Lotari II. And this is a unique one. It's really cool. This emulates an old school rotary speaker that they used to use for organs like B3s and Hammonds and stuff like that in the studio. Gets that wide, pulsating, crunchy sound that we all like on those 60s and 70s records. So let's dive into it here. So I put together some demo tracks here, some organ, bass, and drums, and we'll listen to that real quick with the plugin bypass. Pretty cool, soulful organ. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just solo the organ now. Super cool riff, I like it. And I'm gonna unbypass the plugin, watch this. You can feel how wide and juicy it gets already. And this is just on the default setting. Let's pull up a preset and just really hear what it can do real quick. Then I'll walk through it with you. Listen to that one, that's a wobble preset. Pretty cool. And so you can see these lights going around left to right here. So that emulates the horn and the drum on the second half of the plugin down here, turning independently. That's how these rotary speakers worked, is they had a rotary horn and spun around in circles, and you would mic one side of the speaker, and I'll pause it for a second, and you would get the spinning effect, the kind of warbly, circling effect of the horn of the speaker turning around in circles, but you would be capturing it from one side, so it would just feel like it's just going around in circles. Just real wide and because there's the horn and the drum, they're two independent horns spinning. You can have them go at different speeds, and you could definitely come up with some crazy wild effects, and I'll show you how you can independently do that too. So let's do this in the mix context here. So we'll have it on. Yeah, other instruments playing. Pull up another preset here. So you can, there's a emulation of a tremolo here. Turn the tremolo up. And you can see how the drum independently is spinning faster than the horn. And you can control this independently with the speed control here. Slow and fast setting, turn it up in hertz. And there's the accent, and I believe decay is the second one here, and the inertia part of the plugin. And so you can change the milliseconds of that setting of inertia. You can feel how it's, I guess, a little wider feeling. And there's also the same settings down here on the drum. And it just reminds me of like some Carlos Santana 70s stuff, you know, maybe playing some guitar over the top of that. And then there's this mic setting. So like I said, on I'll pause it, on the rotary cabinet, you would mic it from, you know, wherever you're miking it, and then catch the horn spinning. And then so this emulates the distortion you could get from overdriving the mic. And then I guess this is like a high pass of the mic. You get input gain, sort of like the emulation of the mic pre. So we'll go ahead and listen to that real quick. So on the horn, turn some distortion. Input gain. So drive it. And I'll drive the drum separately too. And then in this middle section, you can mess with the mechanics here. So it'd be like the mechanical noise of the speaker, of the rotary speaker. There's EQ here too, so you can turn up some bottom, turn down some presence and some top. Ambience, so this is kind of like almost like a reverb control here. And there's also an amplifier section. You drive that. A tube amplifier here. Solid. Through different types of amplifiers. I guess they had driving the speaker cabinet. Drive that harder. Just put tremolo on. And then push the stop button. It's going to stop the rotary from spinning. So you can really do this in real time if you'd like. Set it to your MIDI controller and do it just like you're like on a real drawbar organ, and just mess around with the sounds in real time and get the drum and the horn to interact independently and just give that wide, warbly sound that is just so classic. So yeah, really unique plugin. If you want to check this one out, you can go to pspaudioWare.com and download a demo today. Hey, my name's Tony, and I'm going to be showing you a couple plugins from PSP Audioware. And the first one I have up here on the screen is called PSP Xenon, and this is a mastering limiter. So this is for getting mixes louder and more competitive with commercially released tracks. So I personally use this one a lot for my clients when I'm mastering for them. I feel that I can get a lot of clean level out of this. So that means it gets louder without distorting as quickly as some other limiter plugins that I've used. And so I'm going to go through the interface here and show you this track. This is a track from AKB, an artist that I'm working with, mixing and mastering his records. And you can look him up on YouTube, AKB, also known as Indian Dentist Rapper. Yeah, we'll listen to this track and I'll just bypass the plugin right now. And so I'll unbypass it and we'll start getting into it here. So first off, there is the integrated leveler here on the right side. This is going to set the threshold of the leveler. That's going to get you the loudness, so you can set the threshold here. You can also unlink the relationship to the channels, the left and right channels, by percentage. So instead of limiting both channels left and right at the same time, you can limit both of them independently at a percentage, so that it doesn't just crush both sides at the same time. Just feels a little more natural if you change the percentage of that. There's an attack release over here. There's also a transient section that it'll react to the transients a certain way. I use the predict algorithms because it's a look ahead algorithm, and I just feel like it's a little cleaner when it reacts and limits to the transients. I'll turn oversampling on, so that's going to turn on the true peak mode, and then we'll turn on the second order filter envelope detector here. So what I'm going to do now is turn up the input gain level into the plugin. So PSP Xenon acts a little differently than other limiters that I've used, that you turn the threshold down to get the limiter to react. This one you push the level into the limiter. So you push it into the ceiling to get the level that you're looking for. So you can hear that's already much louder. And so we'll just do maybe a dB 1.3. So I'll turn it off. Turn it back on. So you can already hear the difference there. Let me bypass it again. Second. Definitely louder. I'll even push it a little more. Just over 2 dBs. Okay, and then so it has metering here, input and output metering, and then attenuation in the middle. It's a K metering system, so you can go through and change the different K system metering. What would I say? Number values. So it's at K14 right now, and this is for CD production. K20, this is used for cinema production. You can see how it's changing the values of the meters here. And then K14, CD production. K12 is broadcasting. So we'll put out CD production because that's what I'm doing here with this record. Let's see. There's some other modes here. So it just changes the peak meter on and off. Let's see. Let's get a little louder. And then turn it off. Turn it on. And then so there's other settings up here too. There's you can quantize the bit depth right here. I have it at 24. And then also this is psychoacoustically optimized word length reduction here. So it's turning this on is going to ensure that when you're limiting, I'm going to turn it off while I'm talking. It's a little loud. You can make sure that it's not chopping off too much of the audio and really retaining some of the dynamics as you're limiting, as you're getting louder. And so this whole plugin has 64-bit precision processing throughout the entire signal path. So it is essentially oversampling all the time. And oversampling in a limiting plugin just means that it's going to not distort as much. So that's great. That's part of the reason why it's so clean and doesn't introduce a lot of distortion when you're limiting. So, and then you can also operate this up to 192 kilohertz. And I'm just going to turn it back on. You can hear how loud it is. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to turn on another plug-in here. So I'm going to bypass Xenon and move on to PSP Triple Meter. Pause it. So this is a reference meter here. It has a VU meter, RMS meter, and PPM meter built into it. And you can go through all the different settings here on the back. Okay. So you can see all the different settings of the meter types, VU. And let's go back. There it is. Okay. So you see the level going into it. And that's a PPM meter, VU meter, RMS meter. You can also turn on filters here. So if I click process up here, then there's a high pass and low pass filter built into it, really useful. So yeah, you can do that. You can use this before other processing and high pass or low pass if you need to. That's great to have in a monitoring plugin here. And then you can also calibrate this to, like I was showing before, the reference level going into it, the peak holds, timing and all that stuff. You can change all that on the back here. True peak. So you can see the true peak hitting right here on the RMS. That's pretty useful to have. Okay, well, if you want to check this one out, or PSP Xenon, you can go to pspaudioWare.com, download a demo today. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.